Anywho,
Yeah.
Luke
Wrestling,
Harper, Sin Cara, and the Ascension were all released this week.
Yes.
Would you like to lead with this, Andrew?
Well, so first and foremost, well, not me personally, but someone worked out how long is no compete.
Is this Luke Harper?
Yeah, Harper. And to when his contract was due to end anyway.
I saw some about this.
And it was like days out. So, so they've obviously done this as a bit of kind of good publicity that he was leaving anyway.
Do you think it was good publicity, or do you think it was just them, you know what, we'll let you out your deal now? Because either way, it's 6 2/3, isn't it?
He was walking regardless.
He was leaving. And
but I'm just saying, is it WWE just saying, like, we're going to let you out? Because they probably paid him out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, right, we'll pay you out. 6 2/3, you go home and just chill out. Which he was going to do anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got less exposure, like, to other, like I guess, media via WWE while he's sat at home. So I think from their sense, from a business sense, it probably makes sense.
Yeah.
And it keeps him from, I guess, from poaching other people, saying, well, I've been speaking to Impact.
The way I took these three releases, even though it's 4 people, 3 releases, 3 hot dogs. Or 4 hot dogs, really.
That was my
Luke
joke.
Harper is... So a lot of people were saying on podcasts that I was listening to where they were saying he could be that, like, Stan Hansen in New Japan.
Without a doubt.
And make probably more money in New Japan. When you look at Sin Cara and the Ascension...
Sin Cara
will go back to Mexico.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But Ascension, like... It's mad to think
they're going to be the indie circus.
They were amazing in NXT back in the day, weren't they?
Yeah.
And now...
But they've been in the company for 10 years. So, like, in terms of a run, even though they've not been in the limelight that long, probably.
They were in NXT, though.
But
They were amazing. And that's just another example of NXT know what to do with wrestlers.
Yeah.
I mean, how many successful call-ups has there been from NXT into the main roster? I don't care what you say, it's main roster.
Seth Rollins.
So
Neville to an extent.
Rollins wasn't NXT.
He
really?
was NXT
not
champion.
really.
He was NXT. He was the first NXT champion, wasn't he?
He was NXT champion, though.
I don't class him as.
But it depends on what you class as NXT. Like,
well,
for
I've
me,
just fucking told you what I class.
So hard. But NXT for me was like, NXT really got going when they signed Balor,
Owens and Kenta.
Zayn, Kenta, Nakamura, your mate, Naka.
My mate Naka.
That was for me when NXT really got going. But when you look at who NXT had before, Neville, Bo Dallas, because he was NXT champion, Rollins, there's a lot of good guys.
Reigns was in there as well.
Bray Wyatt was down there, wasn't he, at the time?
Yeah, Husky Harris. So anyway,
your mum.
What? So these 3 releases, were the expected?
4.
Yeah, 4 people, 3 releases.
2 definitely. The Ascension, I think they were just.
That's apparently on Wrestling. Raj said the Ascension asked for their release, but they asked for it in private as opposed to going on Twitter like the other 2.
Okay.
So when this batch came out, when I saw there was releases, Luke Harper and Sin Cara didn't surprise me at all. But the Ascension was a bit like, 1, I forgot about them, and 2, it was like, I'm surprised I let them go, even though they weren't using them. I just didn't know they wanted to go.
No.
Yeah, like, I think they've got value elsewhere. Like, I don't think they'd end up in AEW because I don't think that they would offer the value. Yeah, Impact is nailed on for them.
This is where I hope AEW really play sensible and don't just sign.
They've said that they aren't going to be that company, and I think by the large part they've signed like all the ones that they thought were like
ones,
But then you look at some of the AEW roster and you think, would the Ascension be a better signing than some of the other tag teams that they possibly may have?
Possibly, but and then what would you do with the people that they've signed?
Exactly.
So
it's too late now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you can't plan. But
but I do think Luke Harper going there would be
beneficial. Harper would be main event anywhere else apart from.
I hope he does go to New Japan.
I hope Luke Harper has one of those deals, like a Jericho type deal,
or a Moxley,
or a Moxley deal, because both Jericho and Moxley are wrestling at WrestleKingdom in January. I hope they give him that deal. Like, you come at AEW, so you're kind of exclusive to us in the States.
That's it.
But if you want to go to Japan, I hope that happens, because I like, as much as I do bash AEW New Japan, I think it's mint that they can go between the two.
Yeah.
Because why not?
That's it.
Because they don't do house shows in AEW, so you let them go and earn some money.
Yeah, it's one a week, and what, a pay-per-view every 2 months now at the moment.
Yeah. And plus, New Japan need American stars, because with Omega being, because the one I've heard a lot of stuff and read a lot of stuff on the internet that Omega pissed off New Japan, so they won't have him back.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, because of the way he left, they won't have him back. Because if you notice, at WrestleKingdom, Jericho's wrestling, I believe. Moxley's wrestling.
Yes, he is.
Omega isn't wrestling. And Omega was like
The top
him
dog.
and Okada were the two top boys in New Japan. So
so he's obviously pissed off.
He's done something to piss people off.
Fair, yeah.
I don't know why, because he saw out his contract.
Well, there was, I think, at the time, there was rumours that he was like out of that elite group, that he was one that wasn't going to go. So whether it was they'd promised him this and that, and he just hadn't signed a contract in, and maybe he'd been in the background saying, well, I'll stay here if you offer me this, and maybe they had, and he went, no, fuck you.
Do you know what? One thing, I think we've mentioned this on our podcast before. There was somebody talking about New Japan, and they were saying that the Young Bucks weren't as big in New Japan as what people thought they were. You know, like, we all thought there were big deals in New Japan, but they never were. It was always Kenny.
It was just the part. They were part of the Bullet Club, and
they were just kind of like, if we've got them, we've got them. If we don't, who gives a fuck?
So like they were like the new age outlaws of
your mum gives a fuck.
Generation X.
Plenty of them.
Anyway, so were these three releases expected from your points of view?
Well, not the Ascension, but probably because they done it in a professional manner, sort of thing.
That's another question that I've got for you. Going out on Twitter saying, I've requested my release, blah, blah, blah. Is that professional in your opinion?
No, it's not.
No.
I think it's fucking disgusting.
It's horrible, but if you think about it in a business sense, because obviously they're a contractor, they're a contract worker.
Yeah.
I think so, horrible is a bit of an overdone.
But what they're doing is they're basically saying, look, I've asked for a release. Who wants me?
I think it's more of a, I've asked for my release, and Luke Harper and Sin Cara both put out tweets that made them look like the good guys in all of this. You know, like, I want opportunities, whatever the fuck they said. So it's kind of making the WWE look like the bad guys by not releasing them.
Yeah.
So you kind of playing them to release you, where, you know, in this case with Luke Harper, for example, it's 6 2/3. We let you go now, and you can't compete until this time, or we just let you walk at this time.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sin Cara is different.
Luke Harper, like the fact that they've not really been used him, and I think they only used him kind of out of desperation to help them out on an angle with
Eric Rowan.
Yeah. But even then, that was like for like 2-3 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was all it was.
And they could have let him go sooner because they had nothing for him, and they've used their power unnecessarily.
Yep.
I wouldn't call that collaborative as such. So it's a two-way street. Yes, he was unprofessional doing that way, but if you're being pissed off by your employer and you're unhappy, you will go out of your way to
vent off.
If you owned a wrestling company and I owned a wrestling company and Phil wrestled for you under contract, and him coming to me would make me a lot of money and him a lot of money, would you let him out of his contract early? Or would you say, fuck you, you're staying with me?
Yeah, because I like him. It's all right.
Yeah. But even if you didn't like him, why would you help a competitor? You wouldn't, would you? In a business sense.
Oh, no, yeah.
In a morality sense, you would say, just go.
Yeah.
Which is right, but it's still like from a business sense, like I was having a similar conversation at work earlier about actual like work and contracts and
real
stuff.
life work.
Real life work.
I wasn't talking about wrestling. I was talking about roads and stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't making jokes about your mum. I mean, and like, it's. I don't think like everything that WWE have done isn't wrong from a business sense, but equally, there's no real purpose of them. Like, their main purpose is to stop the competition going. But if you're affecting your staff doing that, it's a cunt trick either way. Excuse my French.
It is. I mean, that's what I'm with. Say like your Goldbergs and like your Stings and your Hogans back when back in WCW when WWE bought them. They all said, "Look, you're still under contract," and they were like, "Well, we're just going to sit at home."
Yeah, and why wouldn't it? They were earning fortune.
Yeah, exactly.
So, where do you think they're all going to end up?
So Harper, I think, as we discussed, AEW and
New Japan.
New Japan
Massive.
makes sense, and he'll get a good contract wherever he goes.
He's so good though.
Yeah, no, he is
so good.
Like
he's always been for me the standout.
Since
of the three, like the original Wyatt.
I wouldn't say stand out from Bray.
no.
He hasn't got the charisma as Bray does, but in ring,
I think he's class in the ring as well.
I think he's grown a lot more now.
Yeah.
But back when I think he's got a bit.
One of the mad things, I didn't realise how much Luke Harper done on the Indies. So when he got released, everybody started tweeting clips of him in the Indies. And there was one, I can't remember what indie it was from, but basically, knowing they do the intros and they're in each other's corner. And it's just a clip where like the bell hadn't even finished ringing, and he just started ran towards his gadget and just, like the big boot, and the face just fucking boom. I was like, that's like so fight, as in like
it's like
a
proper fight. I'm gonna kick your head in.
Oh, so good. I didn't realise how good he was until I started seeing all these indie clips.
And to be honest, I mean, like I said, I follow him on Instagram, and I think about half an hour after he got released, he actually just posted like a black picture, and he went, "Larry, goodbye."
Yeah. His Twitter's shit.
It is.
It's
just like stills of them wrestling, but it's like this is imaginary mate Larry.
So we're all in agreement. Luke Harper's going to AEW and New Japan.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, Sin Cara's only going to Mexico, isn't he? It's probably his only market. Like
Triple A.
I mean, well, it could.
Triple A and CMLL.
He could probably. I reckon he could probably get a job elsewhere if he wasn't Sin Cara. Like if he came back as Hunico, he could probably.
Yeah. This is what I was going to say. Like so. The guy behind the mask has been Sin Cara for years and years.
Last
not like
6 years.
It's not like Luke Harper. Everybody knows what Luke Harper looks like. So it's Brody Lee, also known as WWE Superstar Luke Harper. You take Sin Cara's mask off, you don't have a fucking clue who he is, and it can be like, oh yeah, this is so and so, also known as Sin Cara.
How would you like it if? Because before he was Sin Cara, the original guy was Mystico, I think it was. So how about if we ended up in MLL and they had a Mystico and a fake Mystico?
That was classic angle. And fake Undertaker angle.
Razor and fake Razor.
Well, that's what I saw they did with Sin Cara, didn't they?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. They had Sin Cara
I would
neutral.
Love that as a cheap pop at WWE.
But yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
You sound like me.
All right, mate.
All right, mate.
No need for that. I'll take that personally.
So we reckon
Mexico.
Yeah. Well, the Ascension. This is a tricky one.
I don't think they've got much value because where they go, they obviously can't continue being the Ascension unless
somehow the trade
there's no value in this.
Yeah.
Do what the fuck you want.
They're a fake Legion of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're not Demolition.
No. But what's the slimmer one, the smaller one? Is it Victor? It was the big fat one.
Connor and Victor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Victor's the smaller one.
Yeah, so the one with long hair,
Mosher.
the Mosher, he's good. The other one's just shit.
Agreed.
Speaking of tag teams, I was in Top of the Hops earlier, and there's a gadget who looks like the another one out with Heavy Machinery, the one who does the worm. Tucker.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
And I was looking at, he was talking to me, and he loves wrestling. And he's looking at me, he's talking to me, and I'm like, I know you from somewhere. I know, obviously, from him. I know him from the band. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I called him Otis at first.
Did you say, I've seen your worm on the internet before?
No, I never said that one. But I was like, you look like, I called him Otis at first. And he's like, Otis, what you on about? And I was like, Heavy Machinery, the one who's seeing Liv Morgan. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's Tucker. And I was like, same thing. But honestly, he even has the belly, like the big belly. Yeah. And then he touched my ass as I walked out, so I felt quite nervous. He was wrecked. But anyway, where do you think the Ascension are going to go?
Impact at best, I think. Otherwise, the Indies.
Ooh, Impact.
I mean, do we...
where else are we going to go?
Power! If you've got something decent going, you're going to AEW. If you shit, you're going to...
Power might not be a bad show. They could probably do a decent job on there.
Yeah. Well, they'll need a tag team since they've got 6-year-old tag team champions. Fucking hell.
I think
That's
ML...
shit, that.
They'll be like the new books, won't they?
I'm going to start taking the piss out of Power. NWA with their shit. Oh, yeah, we've got
no,
6-year-old champions.
You're never going to stop taking the piss out of AEW.
Well, Cornette's not there anymore, so I'm pro Cornette.
You haven't watched an episode since, have you?
I fucking love Cornette. He was... There was a funny episode on the other night. I can't even remember now. Anyway, so do you think there's going to be more releases in the upcoming couple of weeks?
Hot dogs.
I'm so glad we are not videoing this
one. I think there will be a couple more, but I think might be more after the Rumble, I would have guessed.
Who?
Oh.
Who's going next? You know what? I cannot believe Zack Ryder's still there.
I can, because he's got value.
Yeah,
elsewhere. Like when you're talking Harper, because he's an indie darling rather than a WWE. If he went to AEW, people would lose their shit.
That's
over that.
Very, very true. Yeah. I would like to see him in AEW, but then again,
he get lost around the mid card again.
I thought Ty Dillinger would have done more in AEW.
Was that Sean Spears? Well, I mean, he
still has the 10 on his scarf, though, the daft twat. I'm going to AEW because I failed at WWE, but I'm still going to have a 10 on my scarf.
It's like what we said, the merchandise didn't sell, so they just went, yeah, take the shit with you as well.
Yeah. These are leftovers from MJF. I did like that 10 gimmicks, especially when he came out at number 10 at the Rumble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The first time he done that,
it was obvious, but like it was like it's obvious, so he won't. Oh yes,
yeah.
So you think Zack Ryder?
No, I don't. I'm surprised he's still there because
I'm not.
Remember, he was massive, wasn't he, when he done the whole internet champion thing?
Yeah,
he was huge. And then when he won the Intercontinental belt at Mania one year,
do you remember how his push ended? Kane pushing him off the ramp in his wheelchair, shouting, "There's your push."
Oh yeah, brilliant,
amazing. I don't know who would be next though. I really don't know who's going to go.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Oh, Bo Dallas.
Nah.
Why?
Do you not think?
Because I don't think he'd want to go. I don't think WWE are going to let people go. They're not going to look at their roster and go, "Oh, we don't need a Bo Dallas, so we'll get rid of you," because he will go to an AEW. Yeah. I think
surely it's like Bo has got value, but like no way, Jose, value. Yeah, we can fuck off.
Yeah.
Eric Young has got value elsewhere, so they'll probably keep him even though they're not using him.
They're not gonna let people go off their own backs. They'll let people go if they go, you know what, I want to go, and if there's no real value to them, they'll let them go. Like a Sin Cara, because Sin Cara might go back to Mexico
and make a decent living, but he'll be happy there.
But Mexican wrestling
isn't a competition. It's on their market, is it?
If they go to AEW, it's different. Yeah, different story. Anyway, I've had enough of releases.
Until later on.
Yeah, until later on when your mate gets here.
When you McDuck.
Flick one off the wrist.
So we've had two massive announcements for this year, for next year's Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Our favorite wrestler of all time,
The
Batista.
big announcements for the Hall of Fame.
So why are they doing it now? By the way, like isn't it a bit too? This is right up your street, but isn't this very premature?
Wait, I thought so.
Because normally it's like the run up to the Rumble. It's normally after the Rumble. After the Rumble, that's when they start announcing.
The road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what I want to do is I want to get the WrestleMania sign printed off in a big thing and hang it up somewhere. So when people come in for a beer from January, they can point at the WrestleMania sign. We meant to do it last year in the Lumpy, but we never did.
I'll be here every day.
Yeah. Anyway, so the first announcement was the NWO.
Yep.
Yeah, but not like so. First
as a collective, isn't it?
Yeah. So like Hogan, obviously.
Yep.
Hall, obviously. Yep. Nash, obviously.
And
X-Pac,
that's what I got about that.
At first, when I saw X-Pac going, I was a bit like, what?
What are we talking about? His porno with?
I've watched that a couple
China.
of times. To be fair,
so you've seen him go in.
You've cracked a few on that as well.
Oh yeah, obviously
Terrible.
Off the
but
wrist.
Like, I get it because
cracked off to X-Pac, not China.
He went to the NWO literally straight from the WWE, didn't he?
He did.
So that was like, for me, that was like the first sort of like. I know WCW got Hogan, Hall, Nash.
The three big names straight away.
And I think they got Macho Man as well.
DiBiase was the first four was then three. And
yeah, but it was like, from what I remember of the Monday Night Wars, X-Pac going over was the first like straight from WWE straight to WCW type of where it was like
no, I thought. I think Hall was like it was literally
they did, but the,
do you mean straight in the?
I mean when WCW started really going at war with WWE, because when Hall and Nash went over, when Hall, Nash and Hogan went to WCW was still like not really on WWE's radar.
Yeah, they were still a bit gimmicky.
When it first started being the war, and then remember when Rick Rude went over as well?
Yeah, because didn't he appear on both Raw and Nitro same night?
Where's Rick Rude famous from? Oh yeah, he was in the worst Survivor Series tag team of all time.
Yeah. So for I was surprised to see X-Pac going in, but then when I thought about it, it was like he was the first.
Even after the third time of watching the porno.
Yeah. You started getting a bit of a roll, and he just interrupts you with some shit, filthy comment, doesn't he? But for me, it didn't make sense. The one thing that didn't make sense is why not Bischoff?
Yeah, because he was he still an announcer?
Because he's just left the company, so they wouldn't put him in.
Yeah.
But like, I get why people are saying why not Bischoff, because he was a big part. He created the NWO,
of course he did.
But he was never really in the NWO until a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So for me, Bischoff should go in on his own.
Oh, agreed. Because I mean, end of the day, without Bischoff, there wouldn't have been Monday Night Wars.
And he doesn't get enough credit. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he done for wrestling.
Yeah. So when we were talking about our for the
Mount Rushmore,
like we all said, without a doubt, McMahon, Bischoff,
absolutely
should be on there. Like. Everything that they've done for wrestling when they were against each other, when they've been working with each other,
Going back to NWO, do you think this is deserved?
Possibly. I mean, I just don't think, like me personally, and I've never watched much WC, so I don't know really. But like from what I do know, X-Pac wasn't really a part of it for me. Like, yes, he was, but he just like the
background
were the three, and anyone else underneath that was like they had Sting, they had Macho Man, like that's the two that packs in. But
to put the X-Pac thing in a bit of context, it was the first big Monday Night War move, as in like we're two companies going at war.
He's left, and straight away he's gone over there.
It wasn't like Hogan, Hall, and Nash going over when WCW were nothing. He moved when WCW were
on the rise.
Like on par with WCW. So I was surprised to see him in, because I thought, when I think NWO, I think the main three.
Of course you do.
You do. But for what he's gone through in life and I think it was nice.
So I think
I know it's not a reason to put him in your Hall of Fame again.
Is X-Pac the first one who's been in 2 years in a row?
Yep.
Yeah, because I was going to say it was DX last year,
and
wasn't
as
it?
well, he's also come out and said on his own podcast
that he doesn't want to go in
on his own. Yeah. Which I like. I like people who are like that.
Even though I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
On his porno.
So, do you think the NWO
power?
We're gonna have had too many beers. Do you think it's a deserved induction to the Hall of Fame?
I mean, yeah, it's just maybe A, the timing of it this time of year, and B, it's like it didn't need.
I was surprised
now
them
as
going
such,
in.
but
I would have
like-
thought they would have waited until they went to sort of a southern state for WrestleMania. No, because WCW was Atlanta based.
No, so
Yeah.
they were, so X-Pac said that out of them four, I think 3 of them are all from
Yeah.
the Tampa area.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's why they've done that. And
Yeah.
and if it just means that more people are interested in the Hall of Fame in Tampa,
Yeah.
then okay. Like I from a business point of view, that makes sense. It'll sell
I think,
tickets.
for me, I'm surprised it's took this long for them to go in, because the NWO, that whole angle changed
Course it did.
wrestling.
Yes,
Massive.
It brought out from the gimmicky, cartoony characters to, people coming up with real names like
Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah.
Nash, Scott Hall.
So first and foremost, it killed Reaper Man, so they can fuck off on that. And like I think had that been a WWE thing, it probably would have happened sooner. But obviously, DX has gone in first. I think they've done that on purpose. It's
Here's a
like,
question. If you had to pick one of the two factions, DX, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be the Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Rick Rude, China DX. It can just be DX
in general.
Or so peak DX or peak NWO. Which one are you picking?
I mean, in fairness, at one point in NWO, I think there's about 80 people.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is peak DX, as in like the best DX ever were, and the best NWO were, which is always going to be the first year.
DX.
So. Would
DX
you go
would be-
DX?
I
I'd
would.
go NWO. And
Well,
I'm a Shawn Michaels fan, so I'm
I
saying-
would go DX person.
Would you?
Yeah, Road Dogg.
Oh, the shittest one.
Fucking.
Ah, fuck you.
But but I mean, when you look at the NWO at that time, had Hogan, had Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, had all the big names. He's fucked off. I can't even argue my point.
So yeah.
So I was right and you were wrong.
Yeah, Liam. Got anything to say about that? No, I didn't fucking think so either. Yeah, I mean, like, it's maybe a bit of an unbalanced question, that, because DX was never more than like 5 or 6 people, whereas NWO was literally
A ring full of people.
like almost a I reckon at one point the only person who wasn't in NWO was Goldberg.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
yeah.
it was almost that bad at some point. But yeah,
Well, I remember reading in someone's book. I think it was Rey Mysterio's. Like again, it was only me and Ray who's actually read that book, and he was saying that was like he was part of the NWO at one point. I think.
I don't even know. Okay.
And until the form, like what was it, the Nasty Boys? No, not Nasty Boys. It was like Dirty Criminals or whatever it was called.
Yeah, with
Conan.
Yeah.
Shane Helms and
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was unmasked. But he was saying, when the NWO hit the ring, he said it took him 5 minutes to get in there. He said, and then like you had like the 2 or 3 main people who were talking, and the rest of them were just sort of stood around there just talking,
Doing nothing.
normal. They were just talking normally to each other.
So, DX.
By the way, my point was valid and yours wasn't.
Yeah.
because you
So
had
what I was
nothing
going
to
to say
say.
is I was listening to you.
Oh, you're talking now, are you?
Yeah, I'm talking now.
Is it
DX
Fighter's
were
point?
DX.
Taking the piss, you.
And everybody remembers DX, but NWO changed wrestling. DX never changed. DX were around before the NWO, and then the NWO changed wrestling, and then DX just invaded WCW. So I think, from a business, I think NWO has had a longer effect.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm fucking right.
All right. Don't fight about
You don't
it.
see many. I bet more NWO t-shirts are sold today than DX t-shirts.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because I've got an NWO t-shirt.
I haven't, but I've got a DX one.
And Andy's probably got a fucking 10 Young Bucks t-shirt.
Only 7.
But yeah, it's exactly what you said. If it came down to merchandise, NWO. I mean, if you looked at the crowd, peak WCW. I think 8 out of 10 people will have NWO t-shirts on, and they'll have signs to go with them as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think had NWO stayed at its peak and not gone through the entire roster and the whole company depended on it, which is obviously a reflection of how big and effective it was. But in the same breath, I think that ruined it. Whereas DX stayed consistent to what DX was.
And WWE knew when to stop the DX thing.
Yeah.
WCW just didn't know when to stop.
The split up Sean and Tripp, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sean and Tripp. Sean, Tripp and Knacker. Fucking mate.
All my best mates.
So then, the next induction to the Hall of Fame, we call him Batista. You probably call him Dave.
Dave.
D.
Big D.
Big D.
DB.
Deli
Ray. No.
I'm surprised this one came so soon.
That's what
she said.
I couldn't think of what her name. Sorry.
You're bad as shit.
But
I can see that little smile as you say that.
But this comes on the back of things like Edge, Ric Flair. They have the farewell match at WrestleMania the year before.
Have you ever
then they get inducted.
came on the back of Edge or Ric Flair?
Oh, fuck me. You're bad as shit.
I've only had a pint as well.
But yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Phil.
Sorry.
Yeah, Phil. You talk about wrestling. This is a wrestling podcast.
Sex.
After all.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, if you look at Batista, he's got the look, he's got the entrance song. You get him in the ring,
he's got
the machine guns, which are fantastic. And it's exactly what we said in our group chat today. That pyro is unbeatable.
Is that the best entrance pyro other than Goldberg's? Name me better entrance
Goldberg's
pyro.
is it's iconic, but because if someone said sparklers come up and then someone comes out breathing smoke, you go it's Goldberg.
He looks like a beast when he does that though.
It's like a raging bull, isn't he?
But is there any just the way he does the machine guns?
Do you know what?
No, it's probably the most effective use of a pyro.
Yeah,
if you know
that's
what I
the
mean.
best way to describe it. Yeah, because I used to like Jericho's. The countdown, then the boom.
Yeah.
I like that, and Kane's.
Yeah,
I like Kane's
with the flames,
especially on the ring posts.
Kane's here.
Do you remember when we were talking in our group earlier on?
Being a very naughty boy.
About the pyro? I'm sure I'd seen on. I've got a DVD somewhere, and
I'm sure we've got several.
yeah, I've got multiple DVDs.
Who watches porn on DVDs these days?
Edo Slut 6.
It's like when people pay for it. Why would you pay for that?
But
Because you've got friends who are porn stars.
That's very true. They'll be on the podcast very soon.
But I was. You went to say something there. Like I said, we talked about Power Up, but I remember there was I think it was one of his first ones because he still had his longer black hair, and he came out when his music hit and he started to do his machine gun. It was more of a dance because he sort of did this aloha thing.
Oh, did he?
And I was looking all over it on YouTube, I couldn't find it, so I was like, I found the best one.
I need to. So, tired.
Are we surprised that he's going in? No,
I was surprised.
I'm not.
No, he definitely deserved it. I thought maybe he's next year.
No, it's
the year after. Sorry.
I think they've got to keep it in line with Ric Flair, Edge. All them. They have the farewell matches the year after they get inducted. And it will be exactly the same for the Undertaker.
Yeah, and I think with Batista is I don't think. All right, son. I don't think Batista. It'll be one of these wrestlers who'll be like, right, I'm retiring. but I might come back. I think Batista's
he's done.
Because he's got so much going on outside WWE. He's not going to come back for
it. He's a legit movie star now, you know, in the day.
And he's
the
got
only
Dana
thing
Brooke.
that he might come back for is an angle with Dana Brooke. If that lasts, I think that would literally...
I think he'll come back.
And I wouldn't blame him. Like, if him and Dana became serious and he wanted to come back to push her, I'd say, all right, like, use your
You've got the star power there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I personally, like, I've never been that kind of overawed by Batista, but I recognise what he's done for the business, like in terms of drawing crowds. He's a big pull. Like, he's been involved in big factions and stuff. So, like, he deserves to be in there. But, like,
he's paid his dues.
But equally, I wasn't that excited to see his name, if that makes sense. Like,
I'm looking forward to his speech.
Why?
I like him. I just like when he talks. I think he comes across well. So I think he'll do a good speech. And I think, you know, like, he always wanted that final match with Triple H. He always said that he wanted his last match, and he held off. It wasn't like, I bet WWE offered him other matches before the Triple H match, and he held off, and he got his Triple H match. So I think the business means something to him. I don't think he's like, I'm coming for a payday. Like a Brock Lesnar. Doesn't give a fuck about the business. He just comes because he earns a lot of money. So I think it'll be a quite heartfelt speech.
I mean, obviously the big thing will be, you know, Ric Flair, I think, because I mean, in the angle we had with Triple H was, you know, he was beating down on Ric Flair on what was his 90th birthday.
I love that. By the way.
That was a good angle. Like, when he came back, I was like, oh, fucking hell. But, like, that angle, that bit changed it. I was like, all right, you are a dick.
I'm not going to show you that because that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. The ratings, but carry on. So, Finlay is going to induct Batista. This surprised me because I didn't know.
He trained, didn't he?
Yeah, but, like, I thought they might have went with a Triple H, Ric Flair.
I think that would be the obvious one. And kind of, like, although what people say about Triple H, I don't think he would want to take that, like, limelight as well. Like, even though that would be a great conversation, like, I think Triple H would rather it was another person who deserves it equally as much, I think. Flair, I mean, but if Batista himself says that he wants Finlay, and then that shows you how.
I like Finlay.
I've always liked him, but
I like the fact that WWE gave Batista who he wanted, and not just we're going to tell you who's inducting you, because I think that's happened a bit in the past.
Yeah. But it also helps that he's good friends with Triple H, who's, you know,
top boy. So, who else would you like to see inducted next year?
Well, next year.
Because they're the two headliners.
John Morrison to Phil, you can't have John Morrison.
No, he's only returning.
There's going to be a celebrity, because there's always a celebrity, isn't there?
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper's overdue.
She is, because obviously she was part of WrestleMania 1 and, you know, singer, celebrity.
What, is she pregnant? Brilliant.
I think we broke Andy.
I'm glad. I wish we'd had this video this week, because then people would understand why the fuck we went silent for 5 seconds. I don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about.
Overdue.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Jesus.
it's always worse when I have to explain it. That's what, like, I'm worried about when I do stand-up, having to explain jokes to...
Do you know why?
That could be a gimmick. You know, selling really obvious jokes.
If you have to explain a joke, 9 times out of 10, it's a shit joke.
No, it's not. It's just above your level, that's all. You short.
You dumb. Stupid bastard.
That could be our gimmick, Andy, just telling really bad jokes, right? And then, like, when people don't laugh, you say, it's because... Start ranting at them.
I mean, that is my life, usually, yeah.
So, Cyndi Lauper, Andy, anyone who you think you'd like to see?
I have no idea who else we're going to get. Like, just get the feeling that they're starting to run out of people. Put it.
Well, which is why X-Pac's in twice.
Yeah, Coco Beware's in.
I was going to say they were straight in the barrel this year, like.
Owen Hart, is he in yet?
No, but he's not allowed.
He's
Oh,
not-
I think
no,
his wife's
no.
a dick, isn't
Yeah,
she? Yeah,
Martha.
Martha,
Cunt.
dickhead.
I wouldn't like to say.
Is the Bulldog in yet?
I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think it's the Bulldogs.
Bulldog needs to go in.
Is Jim Neidhart in? Or is he in on his own?
He went in by him. No,
he went in the Star Foundation, I think.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Last year he went in.
Yeah,
because he died, didn't he? So Natty and
because Bret Hart was doing the speech, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, when he got attacked.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope they
fucking
don't.
Cunts.
I hope they don't put the podium in the ring like they did.
No.
It looks shit. I like it when they're on the big
Stage.
stage.
Yeah. And like, I get why they tried it, but yeah, as long as they don't
because
try
it's
it
probably
again.
saving them on tearing down the set and everything. The ring's in the middle, so we got it for Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
Right, can we move on to the ratings?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
we know you want to.
yeah,
I'm excited for
because
this one.
NXT's won.
No.
Ooh.
No. So the ratings are out, and I'm taking this from Brian Alvarez's Twitter. Do you want me to wait, boys? You go go get yourself another beer.
You go to the toilet.
No. You go get a beer, and I'll just talk for like 30 seconds.
Well, you're always
oh wait, go get a beer. 'cause
talking
then you'll be
over
back
people
on.
anyway. What?
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Yeah. So the ratings were what?
Can you hear me, Philip?
Hear me now.
So, who do you want me to start with? AEW or NXT?
Start from the bottom, like you do with all your boys.
Tell me, who would you like to hear first? NXT or AEW?
NXT.
NXT, 778,000.
That's a fall of
That's a drop.
of
That's a
about
drop
what 50,000 ish.
ish. AEW, 778,000.
That's a drop of
So
about 55,000 ish.
It's a tie.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sad that it's a drop on both. Really, like as a wrestling fan, like,
Yep.
yeah. And there's no kind of real reason why that is. Like, I guess, like the weeks before last week when they were bad, there was an event happening, but I don't think there's anything in particular happened, although I'm not exactly an expert in kind of what's happening on the American sporting or social calendar.
No,
But
I'm not. But when you look at... So if you look at AEW's main event was the Young Bucks against LAX, because I refuse to call them
What was it now?
Pride and
Pride and
Power.
so I don't think they call that. And earlier I went on the AEW roster page and they had like every individual
with the win-loss records.
profile.
Because of the matter.
And because win-losses matter.
We need to talk about that at the end of the podcast.
That's
Yeah.
what as to why that's an ineffective podcast name. What? That for every person that was part of a team or
Yeah.
table, it said person X and their tag team name. Them two, they didn't have
Oh,
a.
right.
So actually, no, it didn't have stable. Otherwise, it would have had
In a circle.
the inner circle. But
By the way, it's a shit name. So we'll call them LAX.
LAX. Yeah.
yeah, I think
So the main event-
everyone who knows wrestling
Yeah.
knows who they
So
are.
the main event of AEW was the Young Bucks versus LAX, which, even as a non-AEW fan like myself, that's still a match I want to see.
Of course
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
The main event of NXT was Balor
Oh.
versus Keith Lee versus Tommaso Ciampa for the number one
Yeah,
contendership.
and it was a brilliant match as well.
Was it? I haven't seen it
was
yet.
fantastic.
So it's like nothing is going to draw me from one show to another, because from when I read the results, when AEW had a dip, NXT seemed to have a dip. When NXT were at its peak, so was AEW.
Well, that's weird, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
you'd think that it would be.
you would think they'd try and
Conversely,
yeah,
yeah.
Peaks and
but,
drops
you
between
know,
them. But
So-
I tell you what, right? I mean, this is literally like one of the matches. Like, if you were split, I think you'd no. If you were having difficulty in which match you wanted to watch, I mean, for me, it was the triple threat all the way. But
Yeah, I think I would.
I'd still. But
What?
If that was in,
breaking news.
if that was on Raw and SmackDown,
Did you-
I wouldn't give it the time of day.
Did you
but
just
'cause
say
it's
you would
NXT.
have watched an NXT match over an AEW match when you won about 8 Young Bucks t-shirts?
Only 7, I told you.
Is that right, 7?
I don't know.
12.
So you would have watched the triple threat over the Young Bucks?
Probably. Well, I mean,
when you look at it, right, you've got Balor. You've got Balor.
Liam is smug as fuck right now.
You've got Daddy, and you've got the big star they're pushing at the moment, which is now is Keith Lee.
The BBC.
the big.
Don't you forget about Keith.
No.
No.
I mean, for me, I just watched the highlight match, like the highlight reel again. But what I saw was absolutely fantastic. They've kept Keith Lee strong, by giving him all the power moves and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
it's quality as well.
He's class, isn't he?
I'll tell you what, for a big lad, he's athletic as hell. You want to see him in bed as well.
For a big lad. In what sense are you talking about there,
BBC.
Have you seen the result of what happened? Who won?
Which match?
The triple threat?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't, but you can say.
It was Keith Lee was going for the pin, and then Balor got the coup de grace as he landed.
And this is what I was saying here in our group chat. When you look at NXT, so Balor won. So he's the number 1 contender. So if you look at the 18th of December episode of
the main event,
AEW, you've got Jungle Boy versus Chris Jericho. And on NXT, you've got Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. Why the fuck would anyone watch AEW?
From a neutral
fuck off,
point
you
of view.
cannot defend this at all.
Okay, from a neutral point of view, every day of the week.
Yeah, of course it is.
Jungle Boy.
Fuck off. There's fucking no way anyone is watching Jericho versus Jungle Boy.
No, but I could if you're not a neutral and you like AEW more anyway, you will be excited by that.
But that's the problem. NXT and AEW don't get the neutrals; they're getting the hardcore.
Yeah.
It's Raw and SmackDown who get the neutrals. It's these two promotions are getting the hardcores because it's the best wrestling on telly.
And I'll be honest. But am I thinking that NXT are sort of shooting themselves in the foot because technically this is a pay-per-view match.
And then add on Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley.
Exactly.
Is it Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley.
Hot dog again, mate.
So you got you got Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler and Adam Cole versus Finn Balor on one show. AEW might as well just fuck off for the night.
Yeah, have a holder.
There's nothing. Name me any combination of AEW talent, men and women. Give me 2 matches, 1-on-1 for men and 1-on-1 for women. That comes close to those 2 matches.
Pac versus Jericho.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
I'd be interested in that one.
Come up,
I'd be interested in that, but I think I'd prefer seeing Balor and Adam Cole.
Fuck off. I wouldn't
really.
Honestly.
No. All because the only reason I say I'd rather see Cole and Balor is
because you want to be right and to prove the point.
Yeah. No, because they're both in their prime. Jericho's not in his prime.
No.
Prime Jericho, prime Pac.
Oh, yeah.
I would take over Cole and Balor every day of the week. Just Jericho's a little bit like, he looks like you.
the dad bod.
I'd fuck him as well.
Oh, obviously.
I'd wipe him off.
Eh?
I said I'd wipe him off because but I'll wipe me off, so...
Why not?
If he looks like me, exactly.
Why not?
So, yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see what the writtens are next week.
Yeah, I think NXT will win next week.
No, they should smash it.
It's a takeover show next week, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last one before Christmas, in it, because will they do more than one and
it'll be like a pre-tape? Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
They might do a best of type episode.
Fucking hate them.
I do.
But if NXT put on the best of this year, I think it'd be fantastic just to watch it again.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of bullet points, highlights from TV. Seems like we don't do recaps anymore because we take forever.
Yeah.
How long have we gone? How long are we into it now?
53 minutes. So
and we've been over 3 points.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So Roman
There's
Reigns
another 17 to go.
gets tied to a ring post and gets covered in dog food by Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. What the fuck was this?
I'm sorry, this is where I check out.
All right, see you later. You can't defend this, can you?
No, like I don't even know what it was. I mean, like who sat down and thought, I know what would be a really good idea to get them to hate Baron Corbin more. I mean, that was obviously the thought, but like just an absolute waste of dog food. More like. Yeah,
it's
there's so many things wrong with it. Like I'm just overloaded.
Roman Reigns is the big dog. So what we'll do is what do dogs eat?
Yeah.
Food. So we'll put dog food on him.
Yeah.
It was what I bet Dolph Ziggler sat there thinking, "What the fuck
am I doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dolph Ziggler's class.
Went back afterwards and said, "Right, I want to be the next Sin Cara." What? show me that dog.
Give me the mask. Anyway, less said the better, I think.
I think so, absolutely. Just like whoever's booked that needs to reassess their job. And
so then we'll fast forward to Monday Night Raw.
Was that? I mean, there was more that happened on.
Oh
SmackDown,
yeah, but that was just the only point that made me think, what the fuck?
What about the? Are we not interested in the Bray Wyatt and the Miz angle?
That's later on. I've moved this to the TLC section.
All right, okay. Spoilers, sorry.
So we'll fast forward to Monday Night Raw. Lana and Rusev get divorced.
And then.
This is WWE TV at its fucking finest. I haven't seen this segment yet, by the way. I've just read about it. Is it bad? Is it as bad as it sounds?
It's cringeworthy.
And do you know what's mad about this whole feud? So at TLC, Bob Lashley and Rusev are having their first match.
Yeah.
It's like this feud's been going on for like 8 months. Feels like 8 months.
Have they not fought before?
No. They've had like little scraps, but they've not had an official match. They were supposed to have one at Starcade, weren't they? And that got scrapped because Kevin Owens took over.
Well,
thankful for Owens.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. As soon as Rusev came out wearing a fucking Donald Duck t-shirt, I was like,
that was like, oh fuck, yeah.
What the fuck is going
and
on?
He was like, he said, "We can sign these papers so me and Bob can get married." And he was like, "You take her." Honestly, he was like over the top, gimmicky.
Yeah.
And it was, but then he brought back Rusev Day as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like, "It's great because today is Rusev Day."
So, I think possibly knowing Rusev, they gave him a
because your best mate
costume to wear. I'm not Phil. I've seen him on Total Divas, all right, mate. You know what I mean?
You fucking text him and everything.
Lads.
Oh, Rusev.
The t-shirt he was wearing probably wasn't part of an approved costume. And,
do you think?
And he's probably been like, "This is shit. I know what I'll do.
I'm going to put a t-shirt on."
Donald Duck t-shirt. Yeah, I mean, that was my only kind of saving grace that he's thought about doing that rather than someone's gone, "Yeah, just wear a suit and a Donald Duck t-shirt." Like, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, it was nonsense. I was glad that he brought back Rusev Day and the pop it got, and
Yeah, and for a fact those t-shirts are gonna they're gonna put them back on they're gonna put them back on the website.
Donald Duck t-shirts.
The best thing
with
on
Rusev Day.
Remember the calendar?
Yeah.
Every day is Rusev Day.
Yeah. So, and then the main event, Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I put this on the list because there was a bit of a botched ending, and Raw ended abruptly.
So obviously, like I said to the two boys earlier, I said
the two boys.
The two boys.
Ooh, two boys.
My boys.
Two boys.
What about us?
Video time again.
Yep.
As I was saying to Liam and Andy earlier on.
Who? Sorry.
Liam and Andy.
Who? Sorry.
Juan. Sorry.
Wanker.
Juan.
Liam and Wanker.
Did you just think of that there?
Wayne Kerr.
Did you just think of that there?
No.
Have you had that in the back of your mind all week?
Yeah.
But as I was saying, I watched the highlight show, so I didn't see this botched ending. So I was like, what actually happened?
Look at them daft cunts. All right, lads.
Well, I fight about it.
You'll never get this. La la la.
So, Andy, what happened then? Because me and Liam haven't seen this bit.
Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry, I thought.
Please enlighten us.
I was just saying I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, so seemed like a bit of a. There was a few botches in the match itself. I was bored by this point because
Really?
After 3 hours of
On
Raw.
paper, that should be a.
Yeah, but,
Agreed.
sort of. But I'm not like AJ Styles. Yeah, but
Do you
I'm
think
bored
AJ
by Rey Mysterio by now.
Do you think AJ Styles has lost his? When you think of AJ Styles, you
Because
think
he's on the
main roster.
yeah. There's no one I'm really that excited about. Like I tend to only watch it until we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Like
Imagine AJ Styles in NXT. That would be 3, 4, 5 hot dogs.
yeah, as many as you can.
Melted as 5 stars. We do hot dogs.
5 hot dogs.
6 3/4 hot dogs.
Extra mustard.
Extra mayonnaise.
Extra special sauce.
Do you want onions with that?
So yeah, like there was a few botches in the match, but like it seemed like a bit of a rushed ending. It was, but like after the pin, obviously the announcer comes on and says, "And the winner of your match by pinfall." But like the TV cut off during that, so it was clearly very, very like I think the referee like about 30 seconds beforehand must have said, "Lads, hurry the fuck up."
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem like a storyline finish. It did seem rushed. It just seemed.
From what I gathered, Raw normally has a bit of an overrun, so it doesn't finish bang
Yes,
on
it
11.
does, yeah.
Has like a 10-15 minute overrun. This finished bang on 11 o'clock, so it was definitely a rushed ending.
Yeah, so maybe someone hadn't told the directors that they needed to finish until late on, so maybe they'd not timed it. People like the Lana Rusev segment went on for ages. I think that was where like I just totally like lost
zoned out
in interest, and I was kind of like I was watching it a bit meh. Like
I mean, did he win by was it a roll up in the end?
Yeah, it was a roll up.
Yeah.
Ooh, roll ups. I'm seeing them lately.
Roll up.
A rushed ending.
Anyway.
Let's just end in a roll up.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
Next, our boy Volta.
Volta.
Some mad cunt decided to nick something off Volta.
Yeah.
He's not who you nick something off, is
The
he?
last person I would.
do you know who is this? No, I'm Dar.
Imagine him running off with a belt. Walter's a daft. Where's Scottish James when you need him? The one time we need him, he's
not here.
Ginger bastard.
So some mad bastard decided to nick Volta's passport and the UK belt.
What the fuck's he going to do with his passport? Unless it's Dominic.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good film.
Round of applause. Yeah. But yeah, as well with the belt, you can't exactly go and flog the belt, can you?
Yeah.
Because if somebody walks up to you in the street and goes, "You want to buy this belt?" You're like,
That's Walter's belt.
I think we're still in that son.
Yeah, I don't want to fight Walter.
What's he going to do? Put his
The thing is, we know people who've been chopped by Walter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they told us about 20 times. I wouldn't want to be taking anything of
Come on
Walter's.
our podcast and talk about it.
Shall we invite them on the podcast? Be like, "Do you want to come on the podcast? Do us a favour, don't listen to the first 5 episodes because we take the piss out of you a little bit."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "You know that one who sounds like a Teesside chav? Yeah. It's the one with the long hair. It's not me. I don't sound like this normally. This is just my podcast voice."
I'm just the drunk one.
Knock your fucking head off.
And look you out, like. I can get what? I can get chopped by Walter, like.
I'd go. Have you ever gone down on a girl, or do you always go up, you shortcut.
God, explain your joke.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone down on a girl, go down, or do you have to go up? Because he's small. Fuck me.
That is the shit.
Oh my God.
Fuck me.
I'll tell you right.
That was shit.
People who've heard,
Nah.
who were listening on the podcast, will be laughing at that.
Just one stand-up routine. He thinks he's fucking God now, doesn't he?
He thinks he's got it, yeah.
Yeah, you shit.
But,
I have got it.
as I said earlier,
Your mum's getting it later as well.
Oh, your mum.
as I said earlier,
Sing it away.
I'll let Emma listen to a couple of minutes say while she was getting her hair done, and she literally went.
Not in my hair.
She went, you can tell you're from Teesside. And I was like, and she was like, well, the fact that you're all laughing, then you all started saying, mate, yeah, well, like.
I was brought up in Yarm.
Fuck off, laddie, da.
I bet you were brought up really in Ingleby Barwick.
Middle
all,
class.
All Ingleby
Nay,
boys
nay,
think
nay.
they're from Yarm, don't they?
Spam City.
I'm from West Yarm. Ingleby Barwick. Not Barwick,
Oh, yeah.
it's Barwick.
Barwick.
I remember that happened to me when me and Kimberly were buying a house over in Ingleby, and the woman was an arsehole.
And was
She had-
insisting that it
She
was...
had a two-seater MX-5, you know, that type of like, your husband's rich and you're just doing this to get out the house type of job.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, so your address will be whatever, Ingleby Barwick. And I started chuckling because I was like, oh, fucking hell, here we go. And I went, oh, yeah, West Yarm. And she looked at me like I was scum. Stupid bitch. That was like 10 years ago, so that was before Ingleby really became like
What it is.
what it is. Like, that was, you know, when you go into Ingleby, from the new road, and on the left-hand side, what's that? Is this Willie hanging out?
Almost.
Oi.
Which is why, yeah.
Oi.
And
I was trying to be quiet.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
It's like a real cock, only smaller, Phil.
Anyway, should we move on?
Yes.
This one I'm looking forward to talking to because that snowflake over there is probably going to take some bit of offence to this. So,
You want to go, son?
yeah, I want to go. Right.
Got no offence.
So it's rumoured. So I'm gonna read Sandman's quote before you can even say anything.
Okay, I'll step away from
You
the mic.
step
and
away
so
from the
I
mic.
can-
So it was rumoured that the Sandman said that women main eventing wrestling shows is wrong. So Jordan Grace tweeted this out and everyone went into absolute uproar, as you can imagine. Sandman then replied. He replied, and this is what he said. This is quoted, and I took this off Wrestling Inc. because that's my favourite wrestling website, as you can tell.
I love you,
Plug.
Ashley.
Love you. So Sandman said, I was not talking to 4 women ever. I don't even know who that girl is. I've never talked to that girl. Originally, I was talking to John Morrison's girlfriend, your mate,
My
John
mate.
Morrison. Talking to John Morrison's girlfriend, Taya Valkyrie,
It's
whatever
his
you
wife
say.
now.
Yeah, his wife. I was just walking by her and said hi to everybody and asked how her what was going on. I'm assuming her match. I asked what her number was. No, I asked her what number she was on tonight because I like watching her matches and would like to help her out in any way that I can. And I was talking to her, not to the 4 people at all. Jordan Grace was not there the entire time my conversation was taking place. She was not even in the conversation. So, do you think Sandman said that women shouldn't main event, or do you just think this is somebody trying
This
to
is
make
someone
a name?
trying to make shit for someone
Yeah.
else, and it's on the back of the thing that's gone on with Morello and Graves, Cornette. It is. It's like the.
How are they alike?
Yeah.
It's not that they're alike, but it's the exposure, like the Twitter exposure.
Yeah. So what you're trying to say basically, a small comment's been blown out of proportion.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Right. My take on it is, I don't think Sandman's gone on and has gone super sexist and said women shouldn't main event wrestling. I think he said something that's been taken the wrong way, and Jordan Grace has took it that way. Because
UTB.
and my thinking behind that is outside of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey, no women should be anywhere near the main event scene. Maybe Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley in NXT, but no one else. Really. Tessa Blanchard, maybe.
Awesome Kong.
No,
she's
had a day.
No.
She's had a day.
She's not. If you look at women who've main evented, Lita and Trish Stratus main evented Raw over 10 years ago, Awesome Kong doesn't come close to them too, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're a different kind of wrestler.
Yes, but still wrestlers.
Yeah, but
Awesome Kong should be main evented, in my opinion.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
Yes.
With who?
Obviously.
Yeah.
In that I said that she should be.
Anyway, back to Sandman. Andy, because you're the snowflake out of the three of us. The mic is yours.
So, I mean, there's no smoke without fire.
True.
I don't think she's like grasped this out of thin air. I mean, it's possible that she's misheard something.
That'd be my thinking.
I think so.
But the suggestion that she's made it up to be like just to get a bit of fame,
like an ACH type situation.
I don't. You can fuck off on that one.
That's another one.
I can't wait for this one. Carry on.
Yeah, like I don't agree with that. Like, yeah.
Do you think he said something maybe where he's sort of implied that current...
He's maybe said that they shouldn't be main eventing that card because there was someone better on it, and she's misconstrued that. And if that's happened, okay. But I still think that she has heard that
and took it how she's took it.
Yeah, that she's only heard you shouldn't be main eventing, and has gone, oh.
Do you know what I hate with situations like this? Is she could have gone to the Sandman and
said things.
What did you say? And he could have said it straight there and then.
She might have for all
that's very true.
Like there's two sides to every story, and then there's 4 sides to every story, and there's 8 sides to every story.
She's not come out and said that she had any interaction with the Sandman in terms of
but
I approached him to say clarify your comments.
Equally, no, I mean some people don't have confrontational.
That's very true because I don't.
I don't either.
No,
like I can lose my shit about people, but when it comes to like talking to people that have pissed me off, I have to walk away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would go.
Yeah.
Like blow it totally out of proportion.
Yeah. My main question about all of this is, so we all have our opinions on wrestling.
Yeah.
We know who should be main eventing, who shouldn't be main eventing, and things like that.
It's personal preference.
Yeah. But my concern, and this is where my big question comes from, is the people. So, if you've got a man who's on the same level as a mid-card woman, and you've got a man on the same level as Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch main eventer, Seth Rollins main eventer. You've got Zack Ryder, and you've got some shit.
Kong.
Generic female wrestler number 1.
Fuck off, Phil.
Right? If I said Zack Ryder doesn't deserve to be in the main event, no one gives a shit.
No.
If I said generic wrestler female wrestler number 1.
That's not the same context at all.
Yeah,
you're being specific to a person, but the alleged story was being specific to a gender. So
let me finish.
Your point is irrelevant.
No. Let me finish.
It is. Shut the fuck up.
No. If you let me finish, all I was saying is you have certain women who are main eventers, and you have certain women who are not main eventers, right? So what you will say is that woman doesn't deserve to be in a main event, and someone's going to go, "Oh my God, you've said that woman doesn't deserve to be in a main event." No, she doesn't, because she's not a main eventer.
She's not a main event. Yeah, exactly.
Becky Lynch is a main. So if he said Becky Lynch doesn't deserve to be in the main event, then I've got beef because she legit does.
Because you love Becky Lynch.
Yeah, obviously. So
wife number 1.
For me, it's like, do people look at it and go, he said that woman doesn't deserve to be in the main event, and then they're going, oh my God, he doesn't think any woman deserves to be in the main event. And like Cornette said this, because I love Cornette, he said on his podcast was, he doesn't have an issue with women being in the main event. His issue is, do you deserve to be in a main event? It doesn't matter whether you're male or female.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I know this is like getting down to like as it is in business, where people try and get the balances right between male and female ratios, and sometimes it comes as a consequence now where they will take a preference over a female if there's too many males, or vice versa, where if there's too many, and it's not they won't necessarily choose the right person. Like I get that, but
do you think women deserve to be in the main event?
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah.
If they are good enough.
Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, was that the main? It was obviously the main event.
It was the main
but
event.
In your opinion,
rightfully so.
And rightfully so.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely.
But the Sandman might not agree.
No, and that's the thing.
But
is he entitled to his opinion? Yes or no? Whether or not we agree with it, freedom of speech and all that shit.
If his opinion was based solely on person to person, not whether I'm a man, you're a woman, like if it was solely person to person, yes. But if there's any amount of discrimination in there, because she's a woman, he's a gay, it can fuck off.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree.
Snowflake wins.
Next bullet point.
Next bullet point is, it's quite a good one actually. We'll talk off mic about this one, but the next bullet point, Ronda Rousey says that she's not closing the door on a WWE return. So it's pretty common knowledge that she's took time off to start a family with Travis Brown. So the 2 points I've got here is, 1, do you think she'll be back? 2, if she does come back, who should she wrestle? Who would you like to see her wrestle? Phil.
I'd love to see her come back because, end of the day, when it came to WrestleMania, obviously it was a bit of a botch pin, but it was Becky.
She's a draw though, isn't she?
Of course she's a draw. And again, she could main event WrestleMania yet again.
I think so.
Yep. And it should be against Becky.
I was going to say Rousey, Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
When she comes back, I think she'll come back to interfere to help out Big Bad Shaney B.
You reckon?
You think? Yeah, from the MMA background.
Lead up the 4 horsewomen against the 4 horsewomen.
Right. Is that a WWE WrestleMania main event?
Well, if the other 2, obviously not Shayna and like not this year, maybe next year.
So if you look at the 4 horsewomen from WWE is Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. That's a big 4.
Yeah,
that's a big 4. Do you think Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey can carry the other 2?
No.
To me, I do. No. I think Ronda Rousey is that big of a star. Her and Shayna Baszler can make up for the other 2 being pretty shit.
But they'll be like, it'll be Shayna Baszler.
It would be too much of an obvious.
2 others. Gap. It'll be 2 others.
You reckon?
Yeah. It's like God tier and me
tier. Like it's a top elite 6. And
well, that's the way I look at it. It's like if you look at the 4 WWE ones, it's like if you think of it as numbers, it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey is like a 4. Shayna Baszler is a 2. I'll get that right. And then the other 2s are just ones. So they all add up to 8.
They do make 8. Yeah.
It's just that the star power is bigger on one side than it is the other side.
But the other 2 will be forgotten about. That's why it couldn't be a main event. So because those 2 let them down.
Yeah. So
the reason losses, like in terms of if it was a Survivor Series match,
if it was
them 2
Survivor Series match,
would easily lose.
Yeah.
And then it would be them 4, and then But in terms of an actual kind of, I do think even though it's a WrestleMania match, logistic, the match that it would make most sense would be Survivor Series. But in terms of the big 4, that's probably number 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mania, SummerSlam, Rumble, and Survivor Series.
You think SummerSlam's bigger than Rumble?
I don't, personally.
I go WrestleMania, Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
Rumble number 1 every fucking day.
Rumble's always number 1.
Personally,
Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
I can't wait for the Rumble in here. I've got some things planned for that.
Let's get ready.
I'm already planning my tombstone.
Yeah. Should we move on? So Andy wanted this next bullet point in. So Becky Lynch's boyfriend has been reportedly dealing with a broken finger. Andy,
I don't even need to say anything.
Was it just like breaking news? He's wrestling with a broken finger. Let's move on.
So when finger blasting goes wrong,
apparently, just to jump in, because as we're recording this, it's election day.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
And
yeah, I've seen.
We've all voted.
fucking hate Tories, but it's looking like another Tory win.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
Yeah, they are leading the. Yeah, I've seen that. Well, anyway, right. I don't want to talk about that.
Because that's just going to put us on a
Yeah.
damper.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
Sorry, mate.
I read that and I
Fucking
didn't.
Tory bastards.
When I say that, I would love to finger blast Boris Johnson to death.
It's massive.
We'll
as
just
well.
get him marking as well instead then.
Biggest Tory majority since Thatcher. What the
Jesus.
fuck?
What are people doing?
That is fucking frightening.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's like, people who can vote didn't vote, and it's all the rich people who've gone, yeah, we'll vote.
Do you know the crazy thing about that is when I logged on to Instagram and Twitter, I saw 2 people who were Tories. 2 people.
Yeah.
That's
Out of my
frightening.
social circle, like 2 people, and I ripped into them. I was like, why the fuck? But
It legit scares me that
Right.
they're going to be in power for 5 more
absolutely,
years.
it does.
But anyway, back to
wrestling.
Seth.
Back to wrestling and
Back
Seth
to Becky's
and
boyfriend.
Back to Seth breaking his finger and
So how did he break his finger?
Possible. Well,
Finger blasting
it
Becky.
was allegedly, according to WWE, in a match with
Pornhub.
Eric Rowan, which makes sense because he's not very good still.
Yeah.
He's but yeah, you've ruined my flow in that. So thanks.
Sorry, mate.
Thanks for leaving. Next bullet point, arsehole.
Wellness policy violations. So Robert Roode,
Two new ones, wasn't
Primo,
it? Yeah.
Who everyone thought had left. Like there was rumors that the colognes. Oh, and nearly said
Primo and Epico.
colons, which
I
is
didn't
a
even know
totally
Primo
different.
was still employed.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was rumors that they had both left. Like I think about WrestleMania time it was.
Maybe Epico left and Primo stayed.
And so the fact that he's still that they are able to suspend him means that he's still employed. But like, what the fuck has he been doing? Like, are they just keeping hold of him and so he doesn't go to?
Maybe he's at home smoking crack, and they've just said right random piss test, and he was like, "But I'm at home." He's like,
I'm not been on the road for ages.
This crack is really Moorish. If only he'd made that soundboard, that would have been good.
War games.
War games. Yeah, like no one really cares about him. Have they come out and said what it was, or
Not yet.
do they ever like say what they've?
sometimes they do.
I don't know.
I think it's only if it's like touchy subject sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, with Bobby
Speaking of-
Roode,
Broadest leg.
with Bobby Roode, I was thinking, is it a weed thing?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Either or a bit
Because
of coke.
I was thinking, if he's on rides, he'd probably got done.
Years ago.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but then I think again with the weed thing, I can't imagine him at 40-year-old or however old he is. Go, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smoke weed for the first time.
Yeah.
You
No. I think it's probably been a night out. He's probably had a bit of coke and
That's what I was
it's
thinking.
just been picked up.
But then, you just think like, are you that fucking stupid to do coke?
He's got like what a main event role sort of thing at the moment with obviously
He's in a
Baron
decent
Corbin.
position, yeah.
You know, with Ziggler and obviously Ziggler and Roode have got together at the moment, so he's in the main picture.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm hoping it's a weed thing. Just because I don't like people who do coke. I think it's a bit dirty. Weed.
Your mum's dirty.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really care what he's done if it's harmless. Like, as long as he's in control of what he's done, people can handle different drugs in different ways. Like, I'm not judgmental, unlike you idiot. But like, obviously, him doing that is against his contract, so they've got every reason to stop him doing that, and it's called a wellness policy for a reason.
Yep. They'll put you at rehab for that time.
Yep.
They'll give you the support that you need, which is fantastic. Whereas, you know, it's the same over here. You know, if you're on a certain job, you'll get piss tested. You know, and if you fail a piss test, you're out the door. There's none of this.
I'd legit be fucked if I got piss tested.
I get
because you work
fairly
with
regular.
Is it because of life and death situations? Because of the engineering that you do?
No. Like for example,
Talking in front of people.
I don't do it now, but when I was working in the nuclear industry, the thought is that if you're doing drugs, then the chances are that you're kind of in kind of drug circles, and that's where you can make kind of big money, and within that like dark industry, that's where people will want to buy like plans of nuclear buildings that you're doing. So you're a threat to the industry.
Right.
So therefore, you get checked on that regular.
All right, because I know somebody who works in the engineering industry, and he gets piss tested because of what he does. If his thing goes wrong and that particular thing collapses, for example, you know, it can cause death.
Yeah.
So the piss testing, because if he's obviously high or reliant on something at work and his work's not up to scratch. Luckily for me, I just test computer software, so
so no one gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck. I don't get piss tested, so luckily. Anywho, and I'd talk to you about piss testing that job because you're unemployed, so.
Hey. I pissed test myself.
So this next point.
Tastes like apple juice.
I'm like, is anyone bothered? So, Moxley has got some sort of title match at WrestleKingdom. I don't even know who's against.
I don't even know that.
It's against generic Japanese wrestler number 3. Because they all look the same.
Oh my god! You didn't even say that. You really didn't say that.
I knew that was coming. Is it Tanahashi or is it?
It's the other one.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Look,
I'm leaving that one in.
You have to edit that one as well.
No, I'm leaving that one in because you're going to sink on your own, mate.
I was only impersonating the
Episode 6 is just going to be me and Juan.
Because you'll be locked up.
Who's he wrestling?
You just keep talking, I'll find out.
All right, nice one. So, are you bothered?
I won't watch it because there's only so much wrestling I can watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think Moxley's lost his aura and appeal?
Because
he hasn't done much.
Like
really.
everything, no. Like he came out with massive potential, but he just hasn't been. Whether he's not been used to his potential, I think part of his aura around him was after he came out. He'd done that podcast with Jericho, and it was like a big thing. Everything he was saying, he was like, he gave the impression that he could do a lot more than he was in WWE because he was constrained by the producer, by the writing and stuff. But has he done much better? Not really, personally. But again, I haven't seen too much of him in a dub because I just haven't got enough time to watch wrestling as much as I would like. Yeah. Maybe for it would make sense if out of us 3, one person concentrated on Raw, one person concentrated on SmackDown, yeah,
I'm AEW's
and one person concentrated on like obviously there's 4 big ones, but like maybe in terms of getting an actual real perspective of what's happening, maybe we can do that rather than
whatever you want. But
so
whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
Moxley at WrestleKingdom is going to be facing Lance Archer.
What the fuck?
Lance Archer. So I had
Who
someone
gives
tell me
a
about that.
flying fuck? Why are we even
In
talking about
a
this?
So he was-
Texas death match.
I don't give a fuck.
So from some of the podcasts I listened to, they think that Lance Archer has done a great job since leaving WWE.
Well, that could be fantastic, but no one
do you-
gives a fuck.
Do you know what it
because we
is?
don't know the storyline. Like it's just like
But it
The
doesn't.
storyline is that Moxley relinquished his title, and they had the it
because
was
he couldn't
him,
turn up to an event because of a storm or something, wasn't it?
and the fight that to determine the new champion was like a guy and Lance Archer. Lance Archer won, so obviously he's going to be challenging the winner of that.
So
But do we care?
Yeah, that's
No.
it. Anyone bothered? I'm not. I can give a fuck about Moxley at the moment. He's meh. Anyway,
He's number one. He's number one challenger in AEW.
So why try harder?
yeah, because wins and losses matter, don't they?
Has he
Anyway,
got a loss yet?
oh, fuck knows.
He hasn't.
No, he's got one against Omega because he wants to.
But
Has
was
he?
that official?
No, it wasn't official.
Oh yeah, lights out for the
But he won
seventh
that.
time. I don't know. Either way, I don't give a fuck. Oney Larkin.
You sound like you
Oney
do.
Larkin has been granted a contract extension, and he then tweeted out, "May wrestling gods have mercy on your soul."
So I think he's a great wrestler, by the way. Like a really in terms of his effectiveness when he was in a tag team with Danny Burch. When we talk generic British wrestlers, he is the most generic British wrestlers. He's decent. He's sturdy. Like he's just average as you would want him on your card because he's decent. He can do a decent job. But in terms of making him look great, Oney Lorcan has built him up. I think
Do you
there's so much.
think he's someone just
untapped.
who's carried other people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's so much untapped potential in him. I think if they there's enough tag teams in NXT now that they probably don't need him. Although, if they made him into a singles,
So let him
wrestler.
branch out by himself.
Yeah, and that might have been why he wanted to leave. Like that might have been part of his.
Do you think
Contract
that? Do you
thing to
think
say.
that whole teaser on like his Twitter where he was looking into a mirror and talking about his old his old character and everything?
Possibly. I mean, NXT
There's
do
gonna be a
use kind
gimmick
of
change.
independent names, so yeah, possibly.
So a possible gimmick change, we think.
Yeah.
Anything
Liam,
on the
would
subject?
you like to contribute?
Nah,
Nah, you're
slightest,
bored.
to be honest.
No shit.
No. And I'm not really asked about the next point either.
Thanks for your participation.
ACH, aka Jordan Myles,
We'll let Andrew talk about this one.
has quit the pro wrestling business.
One.
I do not give a flying fuck. I
No?
think he's a bit of a dick. But come on, Snowflake, you know.
He's got a spreadsheet about this one.
You know what? Let's go.
So, I mean, in terms of his potential, it's massive. I think everyone knows it.
No doubt about it.
I think the fact that, with everything that's happened with him, I think it's just affected his mental health, which is why he's done this. And, I'm concerned about his well-being, which is why I just wanted to mention it. I don't know him, but just it. Yeah,
I'm with you on anything to do with mental health. If it affects your mental health legitimately, I'm all for it. However, I just think he's a twat.
Why?
Because I just think the way he went about the t-shirt thing at WWE, for me, I'm a big person on if I've got an issue with you, I'm coming to you privately and saying, look, I don't like what you've done. I'm not going to go on Twitter and tag you in shit and start saying you're a dick, you're this, that, and the other, which he done with WWE about the T-shirt.
But that's not personal, is it?
Yeah, but he could have gone to Triple H and said, look, I find this offensive, pull it now, and Triple H would have pulled it. Triple H isn't a dickhead.
No, so the story I heard was that he said that he wasn't happy about it,
right?
And then it still went, and
which could have been an honest mistake
and happened. Yeah, but if I've told you, as my boss, that I'm unhappy about it
straight away,
but it's gone up and above that, and it's still happened regardless of how far it went, I'd be fucking fuming.
But would you have gone on that Twitter rant he went on?
I would be passive aggressive as fucking I'd be going on. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a separate issue. So he then leaves and gets his release granted by WWE.
Yep.
Which I think WWE could have took a lot of shit for giving him his release.
Why?
But this is what we were talking about earlier.
Because WWE were in a really strange place because they could have been like, no matter which way they went about it, they would have been the bad guys because it would have been like, if you release him, they'd be going, yeah, we were racist, we've let him go because we were racist.
Everyone knows they're racist.
But if they didn't, then they'd be like, well, you hold him against his will and he wants to leave and you're racist too.
Because you're a slave holder?
Yeah. So anyway, WWE done the right thing in my opinion and let him go. It was the best thing for both parties. You know what? Just go and carry on. And then he goes on the independents and gets from what I gather, he gets a little bit of shit. And then he goes on this fucking Twitter rant, basically calling fans entitled and all this shit, and then quits the fucking business. It's like, pardon me?
But like,
I just think he's a twat.
Because it's so like extreme. I'm concerned about his mental health. Personally,
no.
Do you think it was all a bit of a I want to get out sort of thing?
I think he's just trying to make a name for himself. I think he's doing it in a way because no one's going to give a fuck about him as a wrestler. But if he does all this shit,
why?
Because
everyone knows, like,
he's good.
He's good. Like, I reckon he could easily walk into AEW now and get a decent.
But how many
contract.
good wrestlers are there who aren't really known as good? You know, you got so many wrestlers out there who are amazing.
Now would be a peak time for him to get a big contract because everyone knows who he is because of what happened.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So people know who he is.
So
now.
Why is he walking away now?
Because when he comes back in 3 months' time,
when it's all died down.
Yeah, but he'll time it at the right. As soon as he feels that it might be dipping, he may be like, for me, it's like if he'd have left WWE because he didn't want to be there, no one would give a fuck.
He's on like Tory, you know that.
Fuck you. But he's left on this big rant, so people know his name. So he goes on the indies and does one match, gets a bit of shit, goes on this big rant. That's all we're talking. We are not talking about this guy because he had a fucking 5-star classic. We're talking about this guy because he went on a fucking Twitter rant because he spat his dummy out.
For a person who didn't care about this tweet.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's getting people riled up. We're only
talking to him because of this shit he's pulled. We wouldn't be talking about him for any other reason. So I think this is why I think he's done this calculated. I think he's done this on purpose. And because you're a fucking snowflake, you're going to be like, nah.
We'll see in about...
Yeah, because you're a sensitive little bitch. I'm going to tweet about it and then get a fucking more aggro with you.
We'll see in 6 weeks' time when he
turns up somewhere
else.
Come at me on Twitter. At me. My
Don't tweet Andy
Twitter handle
because he'll be like, oh my god,
who's got the best?
You're bullying me.
You're bullying me. You're racist. You're sexist.
Can we have
you're homophobic?
Contest about who's got the better Twitter handle and
Instagram hands down,
handle?
Mate, you've got the best Instagram handle I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Your Twitter handle is shit.
Why?
Because it's shit. But your Instagram handle is fantastic.
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Twitter.
So you're mocking people who've got cerebral palsy?
No. It's a
So,
band.
hang on a second.
It's a
so
band.
Corey Graves makes a tweet about Maro talking over people, and you lose your shit because you're a snowflake. But you take the piss out of cerebral palsy.
Am I mocking?
Yes.
How's that mocking?
Because you're.
Tell me.
Yeah, it's a mock because you're making a play on its name. It's mocking it.
It's a play in it. It's not mocking it.
You're mocking it.
How's that mocking it?
Well, so how is Corey Graves mocking Moro by just stating a fact that Moro talked over people? Come on.
That was a personal attack.
No, it wasn't. It was a fact. It was a fact because Moro talks over everybody. It's stating facts.
I'm not personally attacking anyone with cerebral palsy at all.
But you're mocking cerebral palsy.
No, I'm not though. That's your interpretation of it.
Yeah, and your interpretation of that
wrong.
Corey Graves tweet.
You know me.
I know you, and you're a wanker.
That I wouldn't mock anyone for having cerebral palsy.
Yeah, so you took
suck my dick and fucking like
you
it.
took the Corey Graves tweet the wrong way because you're a snowflake.
Is that your only?
Yeah, it is.
Come back there.
Yeah,
I'm a snowflake.
It's exactly the same as your mum jokes. It's the only joke you've got.
Yeah, but I'm funny, you know.
No, but apparently people reckon you are.
It could be new.
It's true. I thought you were the third funniest that night.
Things can only get better.
Exactly. To be fair, he was fucking funny that night.
Yes.
I was fucking buzzing with you that night.
We will.
I even put you on Instagram. That's how much I
I know,
loved you.
Yeah, we all did.
Thank you.
We all give you the bigs.
I know, yeah. He's still a snowflake, though.
We'll get Leon to introduce him as a snowflake.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on.
He'll get a clothesline from hell if he does it.
Oh. I'm
Fight
so
and
lucky.
talk.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. Anyway, TLC is on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Which I think we've all decided we'll watch it on Monday, aren't we?
Yeah. This is quite funny because the first bullet point I've got is TLC matches that haven't been announced.
Yep.
So, but now there's a lot of matches announced. But from what I've gathered,
outdated, obviously.
yeah. So up until like the last few days, there was only a couple of matches announced, and from what I read, the idea was people don't subscribe to the network
When there's been a lot of matches announced.
Yeah, it's more like they're going to subscribe in the last few days, regardless of whether match is
Whether
announced or not.
Like, keep the suspense there.
I think it's like people who get their free month will wait until the last kind of possible opportunity in the hope of getting more content. Like obviously it's like monthly, but it's not 28 days. Well, it is, but yeah, it's like a month is more than that. If you know
it's exactly what we're saying. Like, do you remember after War Games?
War Games.
Thank you very much, sir. It was after War Games because like the NXT team wasn't announced until the pre-show.
Yeah.
So
as a fan, we obviously now we podcast for wrestling, so we kind of have to keep
we have to
keep up to date with stuff. But as a fan, knowing the card 2-3 weeks in advance to a couple of days in advance, would you, as a WWE fan or a wrestling fan in general, would you still want to watch the show regardless? Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I would like nicer build.
Of course you would, because you want the storyline, you want the build up. Because end of the day, I mean we've talked about this before. The promo package between The Rock and Austin, WrestleMania 20 was it?
No, it was before that. It
was it 17? WrestleMania 17. WrestleMania
17, 18.
That promo package was built on months and months and months, and it was. That's what you want to be. You want to be invested in the storyline. You don't want these things that are just like, oh yeah, we're throwing these two together. So it makes sense, but yeah, we're throwing them together.
I get it from a push for network subscribers, because if you have the full card 2 or 3 weeks in advance, you might go, I don't fancy that, so I'm not going to subscribe. But if you're kind of like, I don't know what they're going to give me, I might subscribe anyway because I might miss something. Like, imagine if you missed a match. I don't know. Let's just say they give us a dream match, as in AJ Styles versus, let's just say Brock Lesnar. I think he has wrestled Brock Lesnar, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But let's just say he hasn't before. You give me that the day before, boom, I'm straight in.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas if you give me it a couple of weeks before, I might stew on it a little bit and then be like, yeah, I don't know whether, whatever. Because you know what WWE are like. We say this all the time, don't we? If it was on NXT, it'd be fantastic. So you might go Styles and Lesnar. Oh, mint.
Yeah, I'll
But
buy
then
it.
I'll sit on it for 2 weeks and go, you know what?
Yeah,
They're probably going to disappoint me. I'm not going to bother. But if you give me it a day before, fuck, I'm signing up. I don't know.
It's. I mean, it's good marketing strategy. That's what it is.
Do you think now WWE are not so reliant on the card and the wrestlers? It's now just the brand of WWE now. Because we're watching WrestleMania regardless.
Yeah. Same with the Rumble. Same with some.
You know,
all the big four.
I wouldn't miss the Rumble for anything.
Well, yeah.
But you give us Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan.
Still watch it.
That, to me, that doesn't excite me, even though I've got it down as something in our next end-of-year podcast.
Awesome.
But on paper, you look at it and you are, you know what, I'm not that bothered. Because Kofi's not massive and Daniel Bryan is not what he was.
No, he's not riding that wave anymore, is he?
No. So do you think the brand itself is now bigger than
So, like,
the card?
I know, like, I think from a storyline point of view that as soon as one pay-per-view ends, that you start to announce matches for the next. Like, I always thought that the announcement of matches was a bit kind of premature in this storyline as to, like when it was announced compared to when the pay-per-view was. But equally, this time around, I think they've maybe gone a bit too far, as in waited a bit too long. Like, they could maybe announce one early on.
They could have
Not
announced more than
necessarily
two
the main
matches,
event, but one early-ish and then one or two afterwards.
Yeah.
One or two afterwards. But storyline dependent, not necessarily people buying the network. But equally, from a business point of view, obviously, our opinions probably don't matter because we'll watch it regardless.
Exactly. That's it. I mean, we're hardcore fans. We're going to watch it regardless.
I am a hardcore fan,
yes.
but I thought Crush Holly was better.
So I love Crash Holly. I love his gimmick of bringing.
I love Molly.
Molly.
Yeah, Molly Holly was amazing.
Oh, she's a fantastic wrestler. I think she was one of the better out with the women wrestlers at the time.
That era, yeah.
Yeah, she was fantastic. But it's exactly what you were saying. Give out the main event. On the build up. But give a mid card one. And build it. Don't just say like, oh, this is going to be our dual main event sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
we'll fill everything else in the middle.
Gives it away that it's been planned. Like you say, this will be a dual main event, but we don't know what the other one will be yet.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
Exactly.
And I think if they made it inconsistent, as in like if at the Rumble they announce the mid card match first, and then at Fastlane, if that's afterwards, they announce the main event, and then like just change it round. It would just keep us on our toes a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to all be main event. If there's a good storyline building, around the mid card, people will be invested regardless.
I'm normally more invested in the mid card.
Mid card, of course, yeah, because end of the day. End of the day, the people around the main event are always going to be in the main event for the time being. The people in the mid card changes really regularly.
Yeah.
And and that's what keeps it fresh. It might be a triple threat. Going into say the mid card game of WrestleMania, but like you might see someone rising from the ranks of down below. But
that's what she said.
It might be someone who comes out of nowhere and gets slotted in.
Oui.
So, yeah, and that's what you want. You want the anticipation, you want the build up.
Absolutely.
And and it keeps people. It doesn't have to be all about main events.
It just stops. It just needs to stop being so staged and consistent to keep you on your toes. Like you were saying.
Yeah, bingo.
So, even though we said that, no matches were announced. They've actually announced 7 matches.
7 now?
7. So I'll run down the matches because I know we've got 2 points.
Are we doing predictions in a different podcast?
No, we'll do them in this one.
Okay.
All right.
Seems though we're already talking. But anyway, so we have the New Day defending the tag belts against the Revival. Then we have a TLC match, Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. We have a tables match, Rusev versus Bobby Lashley.
Bob.
Bubbly. And then we've got...
If only you had the soundboard working.
I know, yeah. Then we've got Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy.
Yep.
Then we've got the Kabuki Warriors versus
Charlotte and
Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Then we've got the Viking Raiders versus a unnamed tag team, so it's an open challenge. And then we've got Red Sweater, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. So the first point is Bray Wyatt versus The Miz.
Yep.
So we've got the first match as Bray Wyatt. And this was, for me, this is a weird one. This is the second point. So they've been pushing the Fiend so hard against Daniel Bryan, and then all of a sudden he's gone into a secondary feud.
Yeah.
Going to turn into Finn Balor, as in
The Fiend halfway through, do you think?
no, as in when Finn
Balor was the
Beast, he would win. But
I was going to say, do you think Bray Wyatt will lose?
No, not against The Miz.
No, that's exactly my point. That is exactly my point because, why would you have, him so strong against?
I hope not, but it's just in
yeah. I know where your logic's coming from. Yeah, carry on.
No, I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I hope what you're alluding to is right, and he will win. Some people are suggesting that the Beast will be involved in some way or form. Right? How can he fucking be involved?
You mean the Fiend?
Yes, yeah, the Fiend. Sorry,
get it right. Okay, fucking hell.
Do you know what I think it'll be?
You're supposed to be a professional at this by now.
3 pints in, mate.
Do you know what I think? Do you know they've been touting the new Firefly Funhouse character? I think Liv Morgan's coming back for this, and I think Liv Morgan will cause a distraction, and it'll be a cheap win. Because I do think that Bray Wyatt will be getting knackered.
My mate knackered.
He'll be getting shin scared.
He'll be getting shin scared.
I like this. Sorry, mate.
I think that's exactly what happened. The Miz will be, he'll be overstrong, and then Liv Morgan will come out as whatever character she's going to be.
You're giving Miz a lot of credit here, by the way.
I love the Miz.
Yeah,
he's on my team
because he was on his fucking Survivor Series.
Fuck you, then your points invalid.
He's best friend with John Morrison, so I love. He's a great wrestler.
But yeah, I think Liv Morgan's going to come out, and I think she'll cause a distraction.
I don't
think he'll get a roll-up win. I think that's what it'll be.
A roll-up is WWE lately.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this though is it extends Daniel Bryan and the Fiend feud.
Yes,
TLC.
That's exactly it.
TLC is the last pay-per-view of the year, and then the next one's the Rumble.
Yeah. No one really cares about. In terms of importance, TLC is a gimmick pay-per-view.
Exactly, and that's my point. So if you've got the Fiend versus Daniel Bryan, save it for the Rumble.
Correct.
So you can skip a month.
Oversells the impact that of the last match where the Fiend attacked DB. That how much of a attack that was, that he's not been seen in it'll be 6 weeks or something.
Do you think it'll be funny though watching Bray Wyatt wrestle in
a red sweater?
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it.
He's going to have his hair pinned up and everything.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to seeing this, whether he changes his style. Because I
don't think he will. I don't think he has the capability to change his style.
I think. Do you think he's going to come and slapping people rather than punching people?
That's what I'm looking forward to most. Is that it'll be.
It won't be under the mood lighting.
Mood lights.
So, prediction-wise, boys?
Oh, we'll do that last.
Yeah, we'll do that after.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, just well, so
You're the
run
host.
through the whole list. So the Viking Raiders have issued an open challenge for tag belts.
Yep. Are we going on possible candidates now?
Yeah,
Should we do
like,
that with the?
I have no
predictions?
idea.
I've got no clue on this one.
I don't
I've
either.
got a few.
Eh?
I've got a few
Go
potential.
on, then. Enlighten us.
So,
Zack Ryder and Kurt
the
Hawkins.
Usos.
Oh,
good choice.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Because I think is his suspension up now? There or thereabouts, I would have thought. Like,
I like it, though, because
Yeah.
like, that'd be a good surprise.
yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I like it.
Spoilers. Sorry.
You should be a writer for the WWE.
I know, yeah.
I know, yeah. Maybe that could be our goal for this podcast, is somebody to get, approached.
A
as
job.
A job,
yeah. Well, me and Andy don't need a job. You do.
Please employ me.
I get a fist bump from
Bastards.
Andy. I must have said something funny when a stand-up comedian fist bumps me.
I was just
Fish
about
him on,
to say, if Andy got employed, right, he'd be
If
employed.
Andy got employed, mate.
No,
him
employed by the WWE.
All right.
You'd be fired within a day for like cracking your mum jokes.
Or
like,
you walk into Vince's office, won't you? Be like, your mum, and you'd be like, my mum's dead. Get out.
fucking Linda.
Would you, Linda?
I would knock the cobwebs off that.
Zombie Linda.
Stephanie, though. Stephanie.
So, equally, it could be a continuation of a storyline from Survivor Series. It could be the Undisputed Era.
I'd love to see that though.
No, I can't see it happening just because of the whole brand split
Yeah,
thing.
but
if
it goes.
would
to
like
what
to
we-
see
it
it,
goes to
though.
what we were saying earlier.
Continuing
Are
to
we
sell.
are we going to see the split, or are we going to see
I
everyone
think it's a hard split now.
Can we stop?
say split?
Are we going to see the split?
Don't give me more ammunition.
Amanda, are we going to see the split?
Are you going to see the split?
Shh.
Beep, beep, beep.
And then if it's not them, I think so. On the storyline on Raw, when Rollins
AOP?
came out and interrupted the Viking Raiders and whoever else, because of Viking Raiders were the last ones in, I immediately thought that'll be a triple threat, that as in Viking Raiders and Kevin Owens versus Seth
AOP
Rollins and AOP. So it could be, in terms of storyline progression, that the AOP come down and then Seth tries to help him, and then Kevin makes. So they are out of the candidates. I'd be surprised if it wasn't one of them three.
Yeah, makes sense. But where would that lead to though? Progression wise.
Royal Rumble?
What, the triple threat between?
No, it'll be a three-way tag on it. Or a tag team match and a singles match. But
Yeah, fair enough then. Yeah.
in the Royal Rumble, it would make sense as well.
Yep.
I think. But yeah, what's next on the
Our
card?
next bout scheduled for one fall.
Juan for.
Boom.
So it's prediction times, boys. So I'm going to run from the list top to bottom.
Okay.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt and Miz.
Bray Wyatt by interference.
Bray Wyatt by pinfall.
Bray Wyatt by pinfall.
Cool.
No, it'll be by pinfall, but from interference.
that's
I'm saying.
Not what you said.
That's what you
No, interference.
said. But interference to me sounds like DQ.
No. So then it would be Miz by DQ.
Yeah. Right. So
But it's not.
you said Bray Wyatt by interference. So you're saying Bray by pinfall.
Bray by pinfall, but it's caused by interference.
That doesn't matter. Does he win by pinfall?
I'm just saying because I
Phil,
want to
Phil,
be.
it's a simple question. Is he winning by pinfall? Yes or no?
I've got a title.
Phil,
No.
you haven't got a title.
Fuck off.
no.
You're not getting a bonus point for interference.
Look, so far I'm the holder of this match.
No, you're not. It's only just been
How is
introduced.
Bray Wyatt going to win this match? Pinfall.
Pinfall.
Right,
Roll
okay.
up.
Thank you. Viking Raiders versus whoever.
Viking Raiders.
By what method?
Pinfall.
I'm going Viking Raiders by pinfall.
I am going Viking Raiders. It's going to be fun, this one.
Next up is the Kabuki Warriors versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair for the Women's Tag Team Championship.
This, right?
Yes.
This whole angle, who gives a fuck? Like, they've made the Tag Team Champions
Andrew,
look weak as fuck.
I'm not asking you for your fucking opinion. I'm
fucking telling you.
I'm asking you for your fucking prediction. You just give him shit.
They've made them look weak as fuck. Yeah, because you didn't ask me earlier about this.
Where were you?
What?
No, we didn't talk about it, did we?
No, exactly.
I don't give a fuck.
Because
Let's just move on quickly.
That's why.
Who was this?
Who's going to win?
Rebecca and Charlotte.
By
Pinfall.
Nope.
I agree.
Kabuki Warriors for me.
By pinfall.
By Green Mist.
Mist, exactly. That's exactly what I think it'd be. Mist and a roll up.
All right then. Cool. Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy.
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black.
Pinfall.
Pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Rusev versus Bob.
This is the blow off, so it has to be Rusev.
I think
leave the blow until later.
I think Rusev by putting Bobby Lashley through a table.
Well, it's just not going to be by fucking pinfall, is it, in a fucking tables match?
I thought I could catch you out there.
Yeah, it's Bob all day long for me. It's not Bob at all.
You've had a what? Give on a put on all day long.
Hey.
Over Lana.
So we all going Rusev.
We're all going Rusev there.
Sound. Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a TLC match.
I'd love to see Corbin win this as well.
So a TLC match, is this you win by ladder?
I think they've said that because there's not a title on the line, it's pinfall.
All right, okay. Reigns pinfall.
Logically thinking, it's going to be Reigns, but I'd love to see Baron Corbin.
I'm asking you for your fucking answer. I'm not asking for a fucking description.
All right, I'm just giving Mill's opinion, bastards.
It's the whole point of a podcast.
Right, fuck you both, right? Baron Corbin.
In the toilet, sorry.
In the toilets?
Yes, in the toilets.
You're going Corbin?
I'm going Corbin.
I'm going Corbin.
I'm going Reigns.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, mum.
The big dog.
The New Day versus the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Fuck.
I'm going New Day.
New Day.
Yeah.
Or because this match was originally supposed to be Ziggler and Rude.
Exactly, yeah.
Rude got piss tested. So New Day.
Yep. Agreed. Pancake day.
Pancake Day.
Rusev Day, dickhead.
Rusev's
And
not
that's
in this
it,
match.
boys. That's our week in wrestling.
Hooray!
For the fifth
It
week.
took us, what, 3 hours?
2 hours.
We're getting better.
No, last week's was like an hour and 24 minutes.
Things.
No, that was because we were drunk and we just had to get. We all
drunk
wanted to
now,
get
aren't
on.
we?
Because you're sober now, Phil. Fuck off.
You know. We're drunk now.
I've mentioned John Morrison in.
No.
Oh, well, John Morrison was on backstage, wasn't he?
He was. I watched all of it.
I bet you did.
Don't mention John Morrison in backstage.
This is
that's
like an
exactly
episode of
where
Faulty
Phil
Towers,
was
isn't
gonna
it? Don't mention the war. Don't mention John Morrison.
Don't mention his entrance.
Don't mention his backstage. What?
Anyway.
Backstage entrance.
Week 5 has been yet again emotional.
It's been another pleasure. I enjoy this. Talking to you two boys. May it continue for 100 more episodes.
I'd love to see that.
We might be doing
See
a live
that.
podcast if your mate Henry pulls out the goods.
If there's anyone who I can trust to pull out the goods, apart from your mum, it'll be Henry.
Yeah, ma'am. You're supposed to come in tonight, but you clearly never. Anyway.
But thank you very much for listening, folks.
Calling it a day, boys.
Yep.
A day.
Good day.
Good night.